CallaDiver's journal. 8th entry. It's the 4th day of the month of rain. Morris is sick and so are the children. I've avoided it thus far, which is good fortune since it has fallen on me to care for them. 9th entry. The city watch comes and goes, knocking on doors and asking for signs of plague. Even our neighbors cannot be trusted. Earlier it was difficult to keep the children quiet. Now they sleep most of the time. 10th entry. The flies have set in. I try to keep them away, but I can barely get close. They sting so. Most of the time, Morris won't answer me when I try to talk to him from across the room. 11th entry. Morris is gone. I don't know what I'll do. For now, all my hope is reserved for the children. Leaving the flat for a while near dawn, I found some plague bags from a guard booth while no one was around. It took a while, but I got Morris into one of the bags. At least his face is covered. Young Robert has passed. The star of my sky is gone. Page missing. Elise stopped breathing in the middle of the night. She was such a headstrong girl, I can hardly believe she was overcome. She was always near as I cut the hagfish or vegetables, arguing with me about everything. It is the 4th day of the month of wind. It has settled in that they are lost to me, all of them. I cannot bring myself to call the dead counter. I have the fever now. No guards come near anymore. So we're really starting off the 4th video of Dishonored on a positive note, I think. Very happy. Especially when we look right here, just a lot of joy going on here. So we'll see, that's the wall of light that we were supposed to pass, but we initially came over here just to see what was up with these dudes that were hanging out at the front of the store right here. But I'll probably just take the easy route. So let's loot these thugs and then free this person. Report any sickness. Hiding the plague is punishable by death.
I owe you, brother. I want to ask about the mask. I wouldn't want my face seen either, pulling a stunt like that. You know what? I'll return the favor. Come by Griff's shop. That's my business. Well, it was at one time. But now I'm reduced to scavenging things from here and there as the city dies. If you need anything, I wouldn't mind trading for a little money. Maybe someday the plague will blow over and everything will go back to normal. But until then, it's scavenging for me. Want to look at some of the things I found? Good prices, I swear.
Sure, let's see. He sells health potions, guard bullets, blueprint for lens magnification, and Sokolov's formula, and sleep darts. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, video game, but I think getting this will let me buy infinite amount of elixirs, healing items from Piero. Yeah, Piero can use this to distill a liquid that restores health and protects against the rat plague. Awesome. So that seems worth it to me. So in the future, we'll definitely be on the lookout for any more blueprints because they unlock permanent things for Piero. And let's stock up on sleep darts as well. It sounds like there's a rune nearby, or a bone charm. Let's see, the heart. Bone charms, a sailor's blessing, they say. This is an excerpt from a book on sailing traditions in Scrimshaw. The carving itself is a practice from long back, passed from father to son. Old man Salt the Greenhorn still getting his sea legs beneath him. In the old times, men cut into the tusks of ice seals and into the arm-long fangs of bears that roam the isles north of Divya. Once the whale trade, began, the practitioners went to engraving the bones of those great beasts, rendering charms that sing in the night and grant some small boon to a man's vigor or defense against pregnancy. Now, we have a ton of bone charms, so that's unfortunate. I was hoping that it would mark a new one for us. Wait, no bone charm. Oh yeah. But it does not, and I'm not sure which one is new. Is it blast resistant? Maybe damage from explosions reduced slightly. Yeah, sure, let's say it's that one, and we might as well equip it. We have one rune, yeah, so we just need 2 more to upgrade our agility. And there's 2 on our radar screen here. So as we run to those, let's listen to the heart.
The doom of Pandacia has come to the city. The river rushed in when the barrier broke. The whole district went dark. I will be glad to rest. At the academy, they cut the flesh of the dead and trap the lightning from the sky. Why am I so cold? The great ships have stopped bringing their hulls. What have they done to me? My father had golden hair. My mother, hair like ash. This city is built on the bones of the great ones.
True. Granny has work to do.
When the last Leviathan is gone, darkness will fall. The abbey is dark, its doors are locked, and no more daily sermons. The overseers have taken to the
Be
streets.
careful, Corvo. They call her Granny Rags. You wouldn't recognize her real name, or even the name of her family, but an emperor begged for her hand once, and rich young men fought each other for her favor. I watched her consider them all, measure their worth, and find them wanting. Then, she made a different choice. You're on your way to face the High Overseer, the leader of a great cult dedicated to loathing me. What will you do, I wonder?
And here's Granny Rags in front of what seems to be a shrine to the outsider. And she was very gracious and let us take her bone charm. So we now need 1 more in order to get the upgrade that we want.
Can you hear them too? Crying out in the dark.
Of course, I meant to say rune.
Thinkers of the city. They devise new ways to tame the elements. Not so long ago, Dunwall was a proud city.
Should have blinked.
Is it the month of the harvest? Time has lost all meaning.
There we go, that's what I wanted. So we're not too far from Dr. Galvani's offices. The objective... Oh, there we go, we've gotten past the first wall of light for our main quest here. And there is a second wall of light right over there. Dr. Galvani's offices, the objective is on the first floor door, but we're going to be a little rebellious and try to go to the topmost door if we can. And something tells me that we can. And it is technically a new area that the game has to load, so let's enter Dr. Galvani's offices. And because we're entering it via a loading screen, we know that we don't have to worry about getting caught immediately or anything like that. And it's pretty neat on the inside. I'm sure there's a lot of loot to have here. There's the Galvani lab key. And this looks clear enough. Oh, it is a bathroom. And next to the toilet we find the Leviathan's Sorrow, which is an excerpt from a report on a treatise banned by the Rudshore Trade Council. Little is known of Pacody, credited with this series of pamphlets arguing against the whaling trade. While he is gifted, his views are nonsense and threaten the economic underpinnings of the empire. 1. Enslavement on the breeding and husbanding of whales versus hunting the beasts in the wild after a natural and free life cycle. Pakoti offers no solutions for where these massive, malevolent creatures might be pastured. 2. Disillusion laments on the destruction of social bonds between herd members. Pakoti actually uses the term families. 3. Harmony, drivel on the aesthetic wonder of what is in reality the great and terrible ocean that ever threatens to swallow us. Includes arguments on the gentle nature of the brutes, a nation refuted by seamen who return to shore wide-eyed with tales of the whale's savagery. 4. Disruption. Here Pakoti is on his weakest footing, issuing up feverish warnings against the displacement or transference of natural beasts from their native environments. So that'll give you a pretty clear view of how, or the respect that the current government gives to nature. I thought we would have been able to sell that, but unfortunately not. Well, that's just grotesque. We have now infected rat viscera, so yes, we did not need to explore the first 2 levels of the lab at all, and there are a ton of guards on the 2nd and 1st floor too, so with that we are going to take advantage of our choice to go to the 3rd floor and get the thing there, and just leave now. And just as a reminder, not sure who saw us, but probably because we were sprinting, but I think we're good. Just as a reminder from the previous video, we're doing this for an objective for Granny Rags, in order to poison a gang that has been doing some pretty bad things to the city. I mean, as far as Granny Rags' opinion goes. I don't think we can get down from up here. I'm using an awful lot of these. Okay. This may or may not be a level transition again. Okay, it is. And once again, none of this is for the I Overseer Campbell storyline. It may or may not actually influence it a little bit later, but for the most part, I think this is a side thing. And we're entering a hostile zone, which I believe is just the game's way of telling us that there are no friends to be found and everyone will attack us on sight.
An army of shadows in front of him. That guy Dowd? Ain't he just a boss? Like Slackjaw? No. This is one odd bird. Consorts with crazies, does rituals and the like, bone charms and such. You sound afraid. Yeah, right I am. Dowd ain't no ordinary man. Touched by the outsider he is, given dark powers. He can slit your throat across the room. Well, that'd give him a leg up, sure. It's no coincidence that most men won't even whisper his name. Is it true that he lives in the flooded district, with them weepers and wild hounds? That's what they say. Perfect place for a paid killer to hunt.
From those men we hear talk of Dowd, who seems to be a shadowy assassin, touched by the outsider, which sounds a little familiar. We also saw that he lives in the flooded district. There was also mention of a weeper, or weeper, so we'll have to play the game to figure out what's going on with that. Distillery master key needed for that. else we were gonna get. Didn't see that. I need to start being more observant. Oh, isn't that clever of the developers to make sure I can't double jump over that? Or I'm gonna assume that climbing this chain will alert the guards to my presence, but I'm hoping not. Okay, no, we're actually good. Okay, looking for a potential path. We need to get to the elixir still over there. So I could jump off the chain and blink. I didn't want to do that. I was going to say that we could jump off the chain and blink onto these pipes, but we don't really need to go onto the chain at all. I guess it's just a good way to get your footing. Wait for our blue bar here. Hello, friend. Let's try going this way instead.
Not to the Abbey or the office of the High Overseer. The other place, where they train the overseers to be real religious. Crazy. He just wants to know where his brother's going. You know where it is. Go and get at it when it's over.
There we go, easy peasy. Wow, that quick turn made this drop gory, but he's fine. He's not dead and he didn't wake up, so I think we are A-okay, even though this would definitely prove otherwise. Oh, another person here, so I'll quick save and then we'll do some exploring in this distillery, and there's all these kegs here. I believe we've seen this book before, so I'll read it really quickly. The rat plague is a huge epidemic being faced by the people of Dunwall, so I think for future game context it might be helpful to read about, who knows. Excerpt from a natural philosopher's notes. For over a year I've studied this cursed plague, collecting and dissecting rats by the thousands. Given their rapid gestation and maturation cycle, there we go, I did it. It's been possible to breed them for numerous generations. The rodents themselves seem immune to the plague, but they pass it readily between members of their own species, perhaps through mites. The blood of the rats tells its own story, allowing me to gauge the number of generations that a given group of rats have lived with the plague. As such, a nagging question remains. The rats collected in the poorest parts of town in the slums exhibit the oldest strains of the plague, while those found near the docks, where the foreign plague-bearing rats would presumably have entered the city, exhibit a younger strain of plague. Could this mean that the rats were transported to the slums in some way that is not obvious? I will continue my research. If nothing else, I am living proof that Sokolov's elixir and Piero's remedy are very effective at protecting against the plague, if one consumes enough of this stuff. Definitely some strangeness going on with these rats in Dunwall. And I believe I hear a bone charm somewhere. Almost missed that one, actually. I should be able to blink up there, I would think. Especially with our new agility upgrade. Let's see, spiritual pool. You regenerate mana slightly faster. I will definitely take that. You know what, blast resistant was probably not the one I picked up. It might go, I think the newest ones are at the top, so plague affinity was actually the one that I received from Granny Rags, or in that general vicinity. Now, okay, well, was gonna say, now where is the elixir still? But it's very clear. Oh, but we don't have the master key. That actually might be outside, unfortunately, on one of the people that we ignored. So we might have to go back, or it's over here, but I think we have to go back.
The nobleman laid with the skull of the
Quite rude, if I do say so myself. We won't go that way. Oh. I'm really glad that I saw that, because imagine how embarrassing that would be. If you're watching me play this and you know this game well. Completely forgot that there's just an opening right there. Alright, we will infect the bootleg elixir. A spring razor trap can be attached to any surface by aiming at it and pressing right click. It will be triggered as an enemy approaches it, throwing up a cloud of shrapnel. Nice artwork on the right there. Okay, so we'll see that as far as the elixir is concerned, the next batch will go, a certain amount of doses will go to the Tubbard, Cramling, Braden families, Golden Cat, Bitterleaf Almshouse, Ednac, Luther, Black Sally, Griff, Trace Flannery, Pratchett family, Nellie, and Morris Sullivan. I'm not sure how helpful that information will be, but we'll take it with us gladly. And actually, the Golden Cat, a poster for the Golden Cat is right here. It features, apparently, the finest ladies in all the Isles who are skilled in the sensual arts. Also, in very tiny print, featuring aged whiskey of renown. How did I mess up that reading? But that's okay. We are done poisoning the Bottle Street gang. I think that's what they were called, so we can go ahead and leave now. The fastest way will be, of course, the way we came. That definitely does feel a little bit faster to me, that mana going up there. Okay, can we get into this previously locked room without being detected? That's what I want to know. And we did. Oh, good thing they didn't look at the window. Oh yeah, that's way too small. This is probably going to be very noisy. Also, here's a Hound Pits pub poster featuring Scudder and Blackie, two very cute dogs that should not be forced to fight. And we made it in. Oh, processed whale oil for some cash there. Not sure if there's anything too important in here, but it's not really looking like it. Okay, well, I may have missed something in that room, but that's fine. We'll just move on. And we have to go around the other way. Oh, we also could have just gone through that opening up there. That's one of the things. Oh, here's the master key we could have used. That's another thing I like about Dishonored, how you'll figure out a solution to a problem, like I need to get over there. It's unfortunate. I cannot believe this trouble I'm having right now. There we go. You'll figure out a solution to a problem, such as how do I get over there, and then once you accomplish it, you'll feel accomplished, and then you'll see, oh, I could have just done that, and that would have been a lot easier. Just one of the many things that this game does right. So I'm looking forward to seeing the ramifications that poisoning that gang's water or elixir supply has, but for now, why don't we go ahead and continue and see if we can't work towards our main objective. But first, in true video game quest fashion, we have to go back to Granny Rags, who does not want to close her front door, apparently.
I knew you wouldn't disappoint me. Now I can stroll along the waterfront in peace. And don't think I've forgotten your little gift. Go on upstairs, dear one.
We have another rune, and you know what that means. Hello, agility. That is now maxed out, so we can now sprint lightning fast.
Peel it off so we can...
And that is very fast.
Never, never, never.
And we can no longer even talk to Granny Rag, so I think we're about done with that specific quest line. Now if we hit shift, will we be able to see where Jeff Kurnow is? Doesn't look like it, so let's just try to find a way around the wall of light if we can. Whenever a game has any type of verticality to it, typically I'll try to always get as high as possible. Although this game does a pretty good job of letting you know what roofs you can't go on top of, though. Obviously those ones don't look as detailed and they're very angular. Rather, they have a pretty intense slope, so I'm gonna go to that opening over there and see if that has a solution for us. But I'm gonna go a different way. And this is the building opposite the Dr. Galvani, I think it was called. So let's see, let's go. Where's a better angle? Can't get that, unfortunately, but we can get that. And I would assume from here, yeah, we can get up there. Although unfortunately the arrow disappeared. I must have been looking at it at a bad angle. There it is, okay, I was pointing it too high. Now if I were to sprint and jump, I wonder if I could just blink over. It might not be the best route, but I want to see if I can do it. I'm not sure if I've ever tried that before. And there we go, just like that. That's good stuff, actually. I'm very satisfied with that solution. Now we're coming up on 30 minutes, but I believe, okay, we've gotten past the second wall of light. I believe there is, yeah, a level transition to Holger Square coming up, so let's get that first. Although, where's that heart? Right there. didn't flinch when I threw his friend at him. So instead of doing what we just did, let's see if we can't wait for him to leave, although it doesn't look like he is. Just let him drop there and then grab the rune and then get out of here. Corporal Meadows, we found this strange rune on the woman who used to sell pastries up the street. Not sure how she died, but since the thing looks superstitious, we set it aside for the overseers. After your shift is over, take it to them for disposal or whatever they do with them. Don't forget. There were stairs that led down here, and I want to see if this will give us a better vantage point. No, it actually won't. It leads back. I think this is a path to get around the second wall of light. I'm not liking how low to the ground we are. Let's go ahead and hide in here and see if that guy will move, but it's not looking like it. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay. So definitely higher ground is the goal. And we're right back where we started. Looks like just good old-fashioned sneaking will be the name of the game here. And we're golden. Let's go to Holger Square. Or as it's known in the game, the High Overseer's office. And we start out in a very, very tight, cramped space, so we'll try to get out of here ASAP in the next video. Thank you, and see you soon.